and welcome to Subjective Thoughts. And our comic for today is Neverwhere, issue 9 by Vertigo. Now there is fighting, killing, blood, torture, and weird shit in this one. So if you are in any way squeamish, you have been warned. Also, spoilers. Alright, here's the team. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived at the last issue of Neverwhere. It has been a long, weird, and interesting ride. So, when we left off everyone in issue 8, Dor was taken by Mr. Kropp and Mr. Vandermeer to the Angel Ilsington, and the Marquise de Carabas, Richard, and Hunter were on their way there too, but came across the Beast of London, like Hunter had wanted, and she had shattered the talisman that could help them pass through safely so she could fight the Beast of London. Alright, we start this issue off with some Richard narrating, saying how the talisman lay below, shattered, Dolly glinted and out of reach, but it didn't matter anyway because it was broken without repair. And then he says how Marquise de Carabas repeated, "You doomed us all," and that he feels like he's seen all this, or maybe it was just a premonition. It just felt like maybe the Marquise de Carabas was repeating himself. And then they're looking, and the beast is approaching. Hunter takes off her jacket and tells Richard to give her the spear, because, like it or not, she's their only hope. I mean, trust her or not, she's their only hope right now. And yeah, she's their only hope, and the beast is right around the corner. Okay. Alright. And then we move on to the Angel Ilsington. He's in his, I guess, home or prison, I think is more accurate to say, in Down Abbey. Dor is brought to him by Mr. Kropp and Mr. Vandermeer. She's like, "Ilsington, but why? You know, why have you murdered my whole family?" So yes, it was me. Now you're here, and yes, Mr. Kropp is the key here too. And Mr. Kropp's, "Of course, sir. Of course, you know, we work thoroughly." And Dor's like, "Ilsington, but why have you killed my family?" And he said, "Because my father, you know, my whole family." And then Ilsington said, "Because I wanted him to open the door to heaven, and he said no." Ooh. Then we move back to Richard, the Marquise de Carabas, and Hunter. Hunter is stretching, getting ready. She has the spear. And looking at her, Richard describes the Beast of London. It looks like this, and how it has all these like swords and spears sticking out of it. And then Hunter takes the spear. She faces the beast. The beast runs towards her. And there's this moment, you know, where she can throw the spear at it. The moment comes and it goes. It's wasted. Hunter does not manage it. It seems like she doesn't throw the spear at all. Almost the beast runs past her, knocking her out, and she flies and falls. Richard, sure, the Marquise de Carabas, they run to her, or is that later? Oh yeah, before that, the Marquise said she'd chosen her partner, let her dance. And Richard was thinking of running and hiding, but he couldn't move. And then the dance was done. Oh, okay, wait, before that, okay. Alright, before, yeah. All right. Before that, we go back to the Angel Ilsington, and Door is confused. Why do you need me to open this door, the door to heaven for you? Can't you just go there? And he said, "No, I cannot open it. It is my punishment." So Ilsington apparently sunk Atlantis for something. He tells Door they didn't listen to me, or there was this and that, and thus he told the sea to just drown it. And he was punished by heaven. He was sent down to down down Abbey, or sorry, down street, and he couldn't go back into heaven anymore. He couldn't touch the key, and of course not. Couldn't open the door. So he needed a door. He needed an opener. He needed someone to get the key and open the door for him. I guess this is why he did not kill Door. Maybe he didn't know before that he would need her to do it. He just wanted to kill her the father and his family. Because her father refused to let him back in to help him get into heaven. Oh, and yeah, and also before that, when Mr. Grubb and Mr. Vandermeer brought her, they told her that apparently Mr. Vandermeer changed her father's last message. What he really said was, "Do not trust the Angel Ilsington." So yeah. And then, so he wants Door to open, to use the key, open his way back to heaven, and then those who judged him will soon be judged. So like, he's a bit of a nutcase, isn't he? Then we go back to Richard, Hunter, and Marquise de Carabas. They hurry over to Hunter. Richard tells Hunter to, just lay down there. They'll get help. And she said, "There's no help." And he said, "Well, he's leaving. The Beast of London's leaving." And she said, "No, we need his blood. We need his blood to get out of this maze." And that so he has to fight him. She gives him the spear and tells him, "Take it, Richard. I was not worthy." And before that, she goes to first to fight the beast, and Richard says how back in the in the street there, he called her an addict, but it was just a word, and he didn't realize how right he was. This is an addiction for her. This fighting. And it made her betray them and betray herself, selling herself to Ilsington. Although, granted, you can argue she didn't owe the Lady Door anything. It's not like she's a long family friend, or even a friend of Door's. She didn't owe her anything. But, it's also the fact that she didn't question why Ilsington wanted this key. You'd assume if an angel can't make his way back to heaven, something's fishy there, huh? But anyway, she gives Richard the spear. She says, "Take it and get ready." She gets up, takes her knife, and yells at the beast, "I'm here. You smell that? Come on, come on." The beast turns back around. It's going towards her. The Marquise de Carabas tells him, "Come on, take the spear." So he does. He stands there and he's waiting. The beast runs kind of past him, going towards Hunter, who keeps moving down, so it's focused on her. And then Richard feels that it's the right moment, and he throws the spear into the beast's flank. I think that was Hunter's plan. He shoots the spear in, it lights in blue in Richard's hand as he throws it. And that's it, the beast is laying dead. Richard had slayed the Beast of London. He didn't believe he had it in him. Then he goes to Hunter, and she tells him, take the beast's blood, hurry. Rub some of it on your tongue and on your eyes, and it would lead you out of here. and also I want a warrior to take my knife. And she gives him her a knife, not knife, her dagger or knife. I think it was a knife. And Richard just sitting there, and the Marquise de Carabas says, "Come on, do as she says." And then, moment. There's Zero smiling. She's about to fight. Okay. And he says, he tells him quickly, do as you're told, because without the talismans, the only way they're going to get out of the maze and get to door. There's really there's like no other way. Okay. Okay. Then Richard does it, even though he feels, the bile raising from having to do that. He smears it on his tongue, on his eyes, and then when he opens them, he sees, like, the way it's lit to him. And so, then the Marquise de Carabas gives him Hunter's knife and tells him, take it like she wanted. You need to respect her last wish. And Richard's like, we can't just leave her here. And the Marquise de Carabas says, if we live through this, we'll come back and get her. And if not, then someone will wheel all of us out at once. And the Birdman wheeled him. So that's it. They move on to their way. Then we're back with the Angel Ilsington and Dor, and Ilsington's like all angry. Bloody Sirens. He's all angry, like, what did you just say to me? He tells her. She said, I won't open the door for you. And then he grabs her, and like, if you won't do it, then I'll break you beyond mend. And Dor's like, I'm not afraid of you. But, and then he says, well, then I'll find another way to punish you. And then he tells Mr. Crop, do you hear that? And Mr. Crop says, yes, two little mice going into a trap. And behind the pillars, the Marquise de Carabas and Richard are. Mr. Vandermeer goes, he turns the pillar, he's about to jump at them, but then the Marquise de Carabas uses the Chinese weapon and shoots at him. He burns him, but it doesn't do much. They are still both of them captured and tied to the pillars. But Mr. Vandermeer now doesn't have some hair on the top of his head. He's been burned off. So then the Angel Ilsington, well, Mr. Crop, will you, begin? So he takes Richard's hand and breaks his pinky finger. And Richard yells out in pain, but he doesn't beg or anything. Richard has come a long way since the beginning. He's no longer wuss, really. Now, pretty tough after his entire ordeal. I mean, you would be after defeating the Beast of London. Then Dor says, stop, I'll do it, I'll open the door. And Mr. Crofts, now, please, your ladyship, do not interrupt me in my work. He breaks the ring finger next. And then she yells to Ilsington, enough, I said I'll do it. And then Ilsington tells Mr. Crop, that is enough for now. Dor goes over, takes the key from her neck, and, well, opens the door to heaven. She said, there you go. I've done. Before she does, the Marquise de Carabas, like, my lady, your ladyship, I would advise against it. And Mr. Crop says, be quiet, the Marquise, or I will kill you again. So yes, then Dor opens it, and Ilsington's like, excellent. And then he goes over. Dor gets closer to her, to the Marquise de Carabas, and then he goes to it, and Mr. Crop and Mr. Vandermeer follow him. And then Mr. Crop says, well, after you, Mr. Vandermeer, the good manners and all that. And then he opens the door. And then, ooh, something happens. Something not as it should be. A second. Let me have a look. Up again. Okay. He opens the door, and yeah. And there's a weird white light floats the entire room and starts to suck them inside of it. And what is this? This isn't the door to heaven. And then Dora reveals her plan of vengeance as as he's getting sucked inside. So yeah, she opened the door for him, but she didn't use the key. It's like I remember back in the market, she didn't ask Hammersmith to just make a chain. She asked him to make a duplicate key. So the key she opened it with was just a simple one that she could use, and she opened the door to the furthest place she could, basically sending Ilsington to hell knows where. Because Dor has knew all along. She didn't fall for it. She purposefully had Hunter and Richard leave. Maybe she even knew that Hunter was working for Ilsington. She knew all of this, and she made the duplicate because she said, back in my father's study, he was killed when he made his last message. So how did he put away his diary? They didn't think of that. They thought Dor wouldn't question it, but she did. She said, "I'm not stupid, and this is now my vengeance." And as Ilsington gets sucked inside and trying to hold on, he said, I forgive you, my child, if you just close the door and abstain from," but then he's sucked inside. Bye-bye, asshole. Yeah, and she said, so I open the door and I take it heaven doesn't take forgeries about the key. So and that was his punishment. I guess the abbey was there to perhaps be part of it, protect the key from him. That can only be taken with 3 tests, so it would be impossible for him to get to it. So then yeah, it's still sucking everything, and Mr. Crop and Mr. Vandermeer somehow still hang. They're holding on to one of the ropes that's around Richard. They keep climbing, or not climbing. They keep pulling themselves to safety. And Richard's like, that these two are like, they say roaches will survive a nuclear blast. So these basically talking about Mr. Crop and Mr. Vandermeer. And then somehow he pulls out the dagger from Hunter and a knife and starts cutting the rope that's holding them. And Mr. Crop's like, now, Mr. May, be reasonable, man. We're reasonable, man. We can come to some deal. Yeah, right. Richard cuts it. Mr. Vandermeer tries to grab him, but it's too late. They're both sucked into the door. And then it finally closes. I guess it had its fill, he said, especially after someone like Mr. Vandermeer was a bloody big dude. Well, that is it. Richard then says he hears ringing in his ears, or maybe that was just his breathing. And he's just looking, and then everything turns dark. I think he either loses consciousness or falls asleep. But when he wakes up again, he's in the abbey, and Father Abbott's there, and he says in his head that at first he thought that he failed the test, and this was all just a hallucination. But then, of course, it's not. The Father Abbot tells him the Marquise de Carabas has already left. and he thought that they left. He didn't exactly fit their lifestyle, the Abbey. And then now Richard has one more final test, and that is to put the key back where it belongs. But then he says, "Oh, and if you want to see Lady Door, she's in the room adjoined to yours." So Richard gets up, gets dressed, and they go to Door's room. She's reading a book, and she's like, "Oh, finally, Richard! I thought you would sleep forever." And she hugs him, and he's like, "How are you, Dor?" And she said, "Happy. I've gotten my vengeance." She avenged her family. And Richard's happy for her, but he says, "But I'm still stuck. I can't get home, and there's no one that can help me." And then the Father Abbot says, "But why? There is. You can use the key before you return it to us." And then Richard said, "I want to go home, not to heaven." And then Father Abbot said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you knew. You could use the key to open a door to anywhere. So it will bring you back to London above, and then you'll go back to life, back to your old life." And Richard's like, "Oh, thank you, God, thank you." So he hugs Dor. She thanks him for everything, and then that's it. He follows the Father Abbot. And then 1 second. One moment. Okay, and then sec. Okay. And he says, "Down towards my happy ending," as he says. Oh, and also Dor tells him, and the Marquise sends his regards, and also says that you're not unlucky like he thought, and he'd like a momentum of yours after you're dead, to carry as a talisman. Okay, so then Richard goes back, and as he's in his office, he looks around, he wonders why did he come back? And in the end, this is all, why do you want to come back? He forgot the boredom, the sawdust, the taste of sawdust of his old life of just working and then coming home to TV dinners, 11-hour work days, and early evening phone calls from Jessica. Now Jessica remembers him again, and she calls him. He lets the answering machine get it, and she said, "Richard, have you thought about it? Can we talk? Let's try this again. We'll just act like nothing happened." Yeah, so Richard is depressed. It's like something Anastasia told him back in was it issue 3? Yeah, it was issue 3. That once you go down to London below, you do not want to come back. And you don't want to go back to your old life. And that's true for Richard here as well. So Richard is walking, maybe, I don't know, from work. And he goes into an alley. There's a homeless man sitting there outside of the alley. And he carves a door with the knife from Hunter. And the homeless man approaches her and says, "What are you doing?" And then Richard turns. It says, "I got this knife from Hunter after I slew the Beast of London. And then I came back," and the man thinks that he's crazy and is like, "All right, man, sorry, I meant no offense." And he runs away. And Richard's like, never mind. And then the knife falls from his hand and he looks down. And then there's light, a blue glow, and he looks back at the door he made, and the Marquise de Carabas is there, all dressed up all nice again. He says, "Well, come on, I haven't gotten all day. Let's go." And then Richard is looking at the door that he made and says, "It's there like, it's looking at me like a secret wink." Let me forget how did he say that. Yeah, before that Richard said, "Let me in, please, it's me, Richard Mayu. I've changed my mind." Then he asked the homeless man, "What are you looking at?" And then how did he say it? Oh, there we go. I walked back. The Marquis turned his back, walked away. The crude door flickered like a light about to go out, like an ironic eye closing on a final knowing wink. And then Richard steps through the door after the Marquise. Says, here I have no promises. Nobody's gonna miss me. And he didn't look back. The world healed itself behind me, and forgot that I had ever been. And that is the end of Neverwhere issue. Yeah, the last issue of Neverwhere, the end. All right, so first the cover. This is a fucking cool cover. Look at that fight scene. It doesn't exactly happen like this in the comic, but it's still fucking cool. Great colors as well. Look at that. Richard about to throw the spear, which in the comic's not golden, by the way. So there we go. You see how excited Hunter is. It's quite sad that she just died and didn't even get to fight, and not fight, but then obviously killed the Beast of London. Look at that beast. That's a big fucking beast. Of course, things in the story are not as they were in the book. Like I said, there's only so much they can stuff in 9 issues, and the book's pretty long. So, fair enough. Oh yeah, look, you see it's lighting and glowing in blue as Richard throws it. But I remember also the ending was different too. I think it was Richard does open a door. I don't remember with what, but doors waiting for him there. And there's an old homeless lady actually in the end of the book, if I remember correctly. That you see, look how the Marquis shoots him with that thing. That's awesome. See, he breaks his fingers. And then, yeah, doors waiting for him there, actually. Well, Ilsington, I don't know where you went, but it was definitely not heaven. It might be even worse than hell. Well done, door. And then that's it, you see. I get sucked in as well, and good fucking riddance to these two. So he says goodbye to Door. And then, voila. He's back to his old life and not exactly happy about it. There's the homeless guy. And there, that's it. There's the door. It opens. And Richard's gonna go back there. Hopefully to Door again. And see there, the Marquise appears. Oh, that is it. But I really loved this series. This was great. Again, I wish the end was a little more, I wish there was more pages. Because Richard really changes when he goes back. That part I remember. He goes back, gets back to his old job. And I really love the part where he goes back because they banqueted his apartment. And there, since he's no longer the man he used to be, he, gets all angry and demands that he gets a better apartment for all this inconvenience. And he does. He's finally being like a tough guy. Not a tough guy, but like a man that's sure of himself. And then, yeah, things are going good, and he's going out to drinks with his work colleagues, but he misses Door, he misses London below, and he wants to go back. And again, I don't exactly remember what he used to do that with in the book. Man, reading this makes me really want to reread the book again. I love this story. And I was back when I read the book, I kind of like to imagine that maybe Richard and Dor later got together. Well, she's gonna have to, continue the lineage, yeah? So maybe it was with Richard. Yeah, it's such a cool story. It's kind of like Alice in Wonderland a little bit, but Alice goes back to wants to go back to Wonderland, and it wasn't actually a dream. It wasn't now. So yeah, very very cool. So this has been a great one. Again, there's a lot more detail, of course, in the book, but there's only so much they could have shoved in here in the end of the day. Because it is just a comic series and 9 issues, although I think they did quite a good job with it. At least you get the gist of it. But again, they need a lot more issues, and depends how much people are willing to read. But the designs were pretty cool as well, especially the one for Door. I must say, she does not look like that in the comic in the book. Sorry, but anyway, I love this. It's a great read. I'll definitely reread this in the future after I reread the book. Oh my god, I want to read the book now. I reread the book now. So that is it, folks. If you like, like weird Alice in Wonderland kind of stories with adventure and weird shit, I highly recommend the book and the comic series. I think you'll enjoy it. This comic series is good. The art is good. The pacing as well. I mean, it has to have to keep up with the book. But yeah, this has been great. So let me know if you read Neverwhere, the comic series. What did you think about it? Did you like it as well? Did you not? Let me know. And that is it. Remember, collect what you're passionate about and share it on YouTube. Bye!